Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Tuesday, January the 25th. Now we do have a bigger Tuesday slate today, 9 games to go over, so as always guys, we're going to go through each one of these 9 games. We're going to break down each team, give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at this slate on Monday night. And then as we do go through each game, we will build out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players I specifically like for both Draftkings and for Yahoo. But as always, if you guys do enjoy these first look videos, you want more content from me, I do provide a lot more updated content over on Patreon. You can check that out. It's linked down below in the description. You can get access to all of my updated DFS content, my updated core plays, rankings, my favorite plays at each position. You can get in our Discord chat as well. That is all available for Patreon members. Also, I give out some of my favorite picks each day on Prize Picks for Patreon members. So if you're new here and you have not checked out Prize Picks yet, they are the sponsor of this video. You can check them out, sign up, use code NOAH when you do, and Prize Picks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks, very simple site to use. It is basically a player prop based DFS site, so you're picking the over or the under on players' projections. You have to make at least 2 picks. You can make up to 5 picks. You can win up to 10 extra money on Prize Picks. As you can see, they do already have a lot of projections posted for Tuesday's NBA games. They'll get most of their board will be posted by early Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. You'll see all the games available, all the props available. Points, they have point props, rebounds, assists. They added PRA, points, rebounds plus assists, 3-pointers made, blocks, steals. They also will have fantasy point projections too. You can take a look at their fantasy point projections. Again, Prize Picks, very simple site to use. You're just picking the over or the under, whether you have a lean one way or the other on a player's projection. Make 2 picks, make up to 5 picks, win up to 10 extra money. You can mix and match sports. Prize Picks does offer a lot of other sports other than NBA. So if you guys have not signed up over there, use code NOAH when you sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up with my promo code. And if you guys do want my favorite plays on Prize Picks each day, along with the entries that I am playing myself, the entries I have my own money on, I give those out on Patreon. You can check all that out, link down below in the description. But yeah, guys, let's take a look at Tuesday's 9-game slate. We're going to start off with the Nuggets and Pistons game. So this is one that I don't think really looks that appealing. On the Denver side, I think Jokic is the guy that we're really going to be looking to. Obviously, Jokic is in play almost every single slate. I think 12-5 today. Jokic is probably one of the better pay-up options. Now, we are going to talk about James Harden, who I think is the best pay-up option today. But Jokic I like quite a bit. We know if it's a close game, Jokic is going to play 35, 36 minutes. He just crushed against this Detroit team when they last played, 62 DK points in 36 minutes. We'll have to wait and see what kind of value we get today. Usually on bigger slates like this, value will kind of open up as the day goes on. I think if we get a lot of value, Jokic, if I can pay out for Jokic, he's a guy that I definitely want to try and play. Still think he's not my favorite stud. Again, we'll talk about Harden in a second, but definitely like Jokic today. He's probably the only guy I'm really looking to on Denver. Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, I just don't really play these guys when Jokic is healthy. At their price points, I don't think they really stand out. Jeff Green is questionable. If he gets ruled out, you might see more minutes available for a guy like JaMychal Green. If JaMychal Green starts, he's minimum salary. He'd be an okay value play, but I'd still be a little bit hesitant on him just because I think his point per minute upside playing alongside Jokic isn't nearly as good as when Jokic is off the floor. JaMychal Green really benefits whenever he's not playing with Jokic, so not too excited about many Nuggets today outside of the Joker. And then on the Detroit side, Detroit's a team, it's really hard to get excited about Detroit just because they're such a bad team. They run a pretty deep rotation. If you're going to play any Pistons, it's probably going to be the main guys, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Hamidou Diallo. Cade Cunningham specifically, I think it's 7-3. More of a tournament play, but definitely viable because if this game does stay close, you will see Cade Cunningham play 35, 36 minutes. I think if you are playing Jokic today, it might make sense to run it back with someone on Detroit because if you are assuming that Jokic plays his full minutes, that probably means that Cade Cunningham's playing his full minutes. And when these teams did play on, in their last game, 36 minutes from Cade, 37 DraftKings points. I think a 7-3, he's a tournament play, not a guy that I have a ton of confidence in, but at least viable. He's the one guy that I think I would be looking to on this Detroit team. The rest of the Pistons, I'm not too excited about. So I think we can move on to the next game, talk about the Clippers and the Wizards. So looking at the Clippers today, there's still no Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, so guys like Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris will have pretty solid roles. Reggie Jackson played really well last game against the Knicks, 33 minutes, 39 DraftKings points. Reggie Jackson is someone that can soak up a lot of usage. We have seen some big games from him with Paul George and Kawhi both out. Now, he's been pretty inconsistent, but I think the ceiling is still there for Reggie Jackson, so it's 6'5", price where he should be, but I think is at least a playable option. Same with Marcus Morris. I don't know if there's any standout plays from the Clippers today, but guys like Reggie and Marcus Morris are viable just because they do have upside. Zubac's minutes have started to trend up lately. 29 against the Knicks, 24 against the Sixers, played 37 in that overtime game against Denver. Like, I don't know if this continues, but, Zubac is a really productive player when he does get minutes. The matchup against the Wizards, with how bad the Wizards have been defensively against bigs this year, I think it's a pretty good spot for Zubac. I don't feel great about his minutes. I don't think it's a guarantee that he plays, the 26, 28 minutes that he's been getting. He could play 20 minutes today, and I wouldn't be surprised, but definitely think if Zubac does get closer to 30 minutes, he has the upside to be worth 5,200. So, more of a tournament play, but I think Zubac is viable. That's probably it from the Clippers. That's really all I'm looking to here. And then on the Wizards side, not much I like on the Wizards. They're pretty much fully healthy. They have everyone healthy right now. They've got more bigs available. Thomas Bryant, he's back in the rotation. This Wizards team, they're a very deep team. They have a lot of guys that are going to play off the bench. The main starters are the guys we'd be looking to. Basically, the big three from the Wizards: Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, those are the three guys we would be looking to. On this slate, though, at where they're priced at, I don't think any one of Bradley Beal, Kuzma, or Dinwiddie stand out as, great plays. Sure, if you're playing 150 lineups and you're, max entering, you could sprinkle these guys into your player pool, but I don't see too much I really like on the Wizards today. I think we can, go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Charlotte and Toronto. Looking at Charlotte today, we will need to monitor the status of Gordon Hayward, which is, actually kind of important. Gordon Hayward did get ruled out last game. We know Charlotte, they do run a very, very tight rotation. So if Gordon Hayward is out, you're just going to see massive minutes for Miles Bridges, massive minutes for Terry Rozier. LaMelo should play a lot. Kelly Oubre should get decent run off the bench. PJ Washington should play a good amount off the bench. Cody Martin will probably start again. He'll probably play around 30 minutes. Charlotte. When it comes to Charlotte, we know where the minutes are going. If it is a close game, we know the guys that are going to play the big minutes. Now, last game against Atlanta, it was a blowout, so you did kind of see more minutes for the bench guys. The starters didn't play as much as you would expect. But I think if this game stays close, like LaMelo, Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, they should all play plenty of minutes, probably high 30s. At their price tags, I don't know if any of them stand out outside of LaMelo. I think in tournaments, LaMelo does make some sense. Now, he's been really inconsistent this year. He obviously does offer a big ceiling. He can put up a triple-double any night. He can put up 50-plus Draftkings points any night. I think the floor on LaMelo is still somewhat kind of low just because, he is kind of a pass-first player. He's not a guy that's going to go out there and put up, 30, 35 points. When LaMelo has big games, it's usually because he gets a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists, and maybe he scores, 20, 25 points. 8,700 though, I do like that price tag on LaMelo. So I think he's viable today in tournaments. I think Miles Bridges and Terry Rozier are playable. I would like them a little bit more if Gordon Hayward sits. Kelly Oubre last game without Gordon Hayward didn't play as much as I would expect. He played only 23 minutes, but again, that was a blowout. I think most nights, if especially if Hayward's out again, we'll see high 20s for Kelly Oubre. So 5,400, he's a viable option. I think PJ Washington will play more. He played 31 last game. 4,900. I think PJ Washington pretty decent value play today if Gordon Hayward's out again. And then Cody Martin, you could go there. He did start, played 29 minutes. Wasn't that productive, but I'd assume Cody Martin, will start again if Hayward's out. He'll probably play around 30 minutes. He's 4,300. A guy you could look to as a value play. And that's probably it from Charlotte. Now on the Toronto side, definitely some guys I like here as tournament plays. Now, the one guy I think that really stands out, we'll talk about in a second, that I really like is Scotty Barnes. But the matchup against Charlotte is pretty good. I will say that Charlotte's defense, I think, as of late has been improving. In terms of defensive rating, they're still ranked 26 in defensive rating on the season, but I do want to say their defense has been getting better lately. But they still do play at a really fast pace. They're second in pace on the season. So it's a really, it's a pretty good matchup for these Toronto guys. I think Van Vliet and Siakam, again, they're probably priced where they should be, but the upside's there. I mean, these guys are playing 40, 42 minutes a night in close games. I think if this game is close, you're going to see Fred Van Vliet play around 40 minutes. You're going to see Pascal Siakam play around 40 minutes. I think both those guys make some sense in tournaments, especially Siakam. Really good matchup for Siakam. Bigs against Charlotte is a matchup I've been targeting all season. So I definitely like him in tournaments. I think OG is fine at 6,900, but Scotty Barnes I do like quite a bit at 6,500. The price tag on Scotty Barnes, I don't think at this price point he really gets a ton of ownership, but I think he does have the ceiling to pay off this price tag. Scotty Barnes is someone that can produce in all categories. He's got legit triple-double upside. I don't know if he's triple-doubled yet this season, but there's definitely been a lot of games where he's been close to it because he can score, he can rebound, he can get assists, he can do everything, get defensive stats as well. Against Charlotte, in a fast-paced game where there's going to be a lot of rebound opportunities, a lot of assist potential, there's going to be a lot of possessions. There's just going to be a lot of shot attempts. I think this is definitely a good spot for Scotty Barnes. Again, on this slate with 9 games, I don't think he really gets a ton of ownership. So I definitely like Scotty Barnes today at first look. I'm on Yahoo. I think Scotty Barnes looks pretty good there too. If you want to play him on Yahoo, $25 at the power forward position. Definitely like Scotty Barnes today. The rest of these Raptors, I think, are all solid as well. Gary Trent, I liked a lot last slate. He was really disappointing. Shot terrible, 4 for 15 from the field. Only played 28 minutes. He's, since he's come back from his injury, the 2 games he's played 29 and 28 minutes. I think most nights Gary Trent will play around 33, 34 minutes. I don't know if he plays like into the 20s like he has been. Again, 5K. I don't think Gary Trent really gets any ownership today, especially because he's had like 2 back-to-back bad games. But the matchup's really good. It should be a fast-paced game, which I think sets up well for Gary Trent. So viable. Same with Chris Boucher. Like Chris Boucher is probably going to play, mid to high 20s minutes off the bench. We know Boucher is a great point per minute player. The matchup's really good. Again, I think Boucher and Gary Trent are kind of like dart throws, but they're at least viable. The main 4 guys, though, Van Vliet, Siakam, OG, Scotty Barnes, like if this game's close, those 4 guys are going to play 35 to 40 minutes, and obviously in a really good matchup, they all have upside. Choosing between the 4, there's really no preference for me, but I definitely like Scotty Barnes given the price tag and given the matchup and the just raw upside that he has, how he can contribute in all categories. Scotty Barnes, a guy that I'd like to play a lot this year. I definitely have some interest in him on today's slate. But that's it for Toronto. We'll move on to the next game, talk about the Pelicans and the Sixers. So the Pelicans today, we're going to have to watch the injury report here. They are on a back-to-back. They did play on Monday. Brandon Ingram was questionable for Monday's game and ultimately got ruled out. He did not play Monday. Don't know yet if Ingram's going to play for Tuesday's game. This is just kind of a wait and see. For now, if Ingram does play, I don't know if there's any standout plays from the Pelicans just because, it's a tough spot on the road, back-to-back against the Sixers. There's a little bit of blowout risk here. JV, in this matchup against Embiid, I do worry a bit about JVal, in this spot. I think foul trouble is a concern. Now, these teams have played once this season. JV, 30 DK points in 29 minutes, wasn't great. Embiid's a really good defender, but we know JVal, has so much upside. If he does play his normal minutes, he did get into some foul trouble in Monday's game against the Pacers. If he plays his normal 33, 34 minutes, he can put up 50-plus fantasy points any night. Now, is he likely to do that against Embiid? Probably not. But I think JVal is at least viable in tournaments. Josh Hart did go to the locker room in Monday's game, but he ultimately wound up, returning and playing through that injury. So I guess Josh Hart plays today, but keep an eye on his status. Again, it's a back-to-back. Devontae Graham was questionable Monday, and he ultimately wound up playing. I think Devontae Graham probably plays today, but, given the back-to-back, there's at least a possibility that maybe they sit him. All these guys are really only going to be viable if Brandon Ingram sits. Again, if Brandon Ingram returns, I would probably be off of Hart. I'd be off of Ingram, and basically all the other Pelicans I wouldn't have that much interest in. But that's it for the Pelican side. Now looking at the Sixers are kind of an appealing team right now because they are running a very tight rotation. They're shorthanded right now. Still no Seth Curry, no Shake Milton, no Danny Green. Matisse Thybulle could maybe return. He is questionable right now. Even if he does, I don't know if that's going to impact too much just because, we've seen lately, they've been running an 8-man rotation. Embiid, Harris, Maxey, Korkmaz, Drummond, Niang, Charlie Brown, and Isaiah Joe. Those are the 8 guys that have been playing for Philly. No one else has been getting minutes. Obviously, if Thybulle plays, he'll be back in the rotation, but we can expect, if this game's close, big minutes for Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey. Embiid specifically has just been dominating lately. 77, 67, 65 DraftKings points his last 3 games. Going up here against JVal, I don't think this is a spot where we should really worry about Embiid struggling. His usage is just going to be so massive. His role is just so good right now. He's just getting so much opportunity. You look at the field goal attempts, 23, 25, 32 shot attempts, double-digit rebounds. He's getting assists. Embiid's just doing everything right now. Obviously, in play today if you want to go there. Tobias Harris, I really haven't been on lately, but I think without Seth Curry and with just how tight the Sixers are running their rotation with how many minutes Tobias Harris is playing, he's looked better lately, and I think with the minutes upside that he has right now, with the just massive ceiling in terms of minutes, probably plays high 30s into the 40s in minutes if this is a close game. I think Tobias Harris is viable. Tyrese Maxey, they've just been running Tyrese Maxey into the ground. Last 2 games with Curry out, 46 and 42 minutes for Tyrese Maxey. I think Tyrese Maxey plays 40 minutes today if it's a close game, so it's 6-4. I think Maxey's a viable option. And then if you're looking for cheap plays, I do want to talk about Korkmaz. So Korkmaz is someone I usually don't get excited to play. But the last 2 games he has started, and he's played 39 and 37 minutes. Shot attempts wise, first game against the Clippers, only shot 2 for 7, but last game took 13 shots. We know Korkmaz is mainly a scoring-dependent player. He doesn't do too much else except shoot threes, but Last game, got 4 rebounds and 3 assists. The minutes, though, that's the main thing. Like, Korkmaz is still pretty cheap, 4,500, and he's playing close to 40 minutes a night right now. Again, the Sixers are running a tight rotation. They're giving their main guys huge minutes. So I think Korkmaz at 4,500 still looks like a pretty good value play today with Curry and Milton and Danny Green all out. And Korkmaz is really cheap on Yahoo, so if you want to play him over there at $11, I think Korkmaz stands out as a pretty strong value play. The rest of the Sixers, I'm not too excited about. I think those guys, mainly the starters, those 4 guys specifically, Embiid, Harris, Maxey, and Korkmaz are the 4 that I'm really looking to. We'll move on to the next game, talk about Sacramento and Boston. So Sacramento today, we're definitely going to have to watch the status of De'Aaron Fox. This is really a important injury to monitor. Fox was questionable last game. I don't even think he was questionable last game. I think he was just a late scratch. He got ruled out like 10 or 15 minutes before the game started. If Fox does sit again, that will open up a guy like Tyrese Halliburton to be a very, very strong option. I mean, the price tag on Halliburton didn't even move. He's still 7,400. Halliburton would be a great play today if Fox winds up sitting again. He's going to have the ball in his hands more. We've seen Halliburton just be really, really good in the games without Fox this season. So I would love Halliburton today if Fox is out. I think Fox being out would benefit guys like Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield and Terrence Davis. Now, at their price points, I don't think they stand out nearly as much as Halliburton does, but still, you could go to those guys. Rashawn Holmes, 4,600, like he's really cheap. His minutes have not been that great lately, but we do know that Rashawn Holmes is a really good producer. He's a really good point-per-minute player. If he gets like 25, 28 minutes, I mean, he can put up 30-plus Draftkings points easily in mid-20s minutes. Again, just they really haven't shown much inclination to play Holmes big minutes this year, but the price tag is really low that I think in tournaments as a just low-on dart throw, he would make some sense. But really, we're going to have to watch the status of Fox because that does impact a lot. If Fox plays, I don't love much on Sacramento, but if Fox is out, would really like Halliburton, and I think Barnes, Hield, Davis would be viable as well. But then on the Boston side, so with the Celtics today, they're pretty much fully healthy. They have Marcus Smart back for this game. I don't see too much I really like from Boston. Or Marcus Smart returned last game, played 31 minutes. But yeah, I don't see too much I really like from Boston, just given the price points. Like Tatum is expensive at 10.4. Jaylen Brown's price, where he should be at 9.2. The matchup against Sacramento is obviously really good. Sacramento have been playing relatively fast this year. They're not that good of a defensive team. So it wouldn't be surprising to see like Tatum or Brown do really well here. But it's going to be tough to pick which one you want to go to. It seems like whenever I play Tatum, Brown goes off, and whenever I play Brown, Tatum goes off. I just can't get those guys right. Tatum's coming off a huge game against the Wizards, so like maybe Brown is the guy that goes off today. I don't really know. They're just more tournament plays. The rest of Boston, I'm not too excited about. Schroeder, he played really well whenever Smart was out, but now that Smart's back, I'm not that interested in Schroeder. Yeah, I think we can move on to the next game, talk about the Lakers and the Nets. So looking at the Lakers today, I'm not excited about many Lakers. Anthony Davis is probable, so he is expected to return after being out for about a month. So with Anthony Davis back, like that's just going to take away from LeBron. It's going to take away from Russell Westbrook. When the big three from the Lakers are all healthy, I really never have a preference between the three. Usually LeBron is always going to be the safest option, but he's priced, at 11-1, kind of where he should be. If not, right now he's overpriced. Westbrook, lately he's actually looked a little bit better. Back-to-back solid games from Westbrook against Orlando and Miami. 48 and 47 DraftKings points. The price tag on Westbrook, it looks pretty good at 8,300. It's almost like DraftKings is like they're enticing you. They're like baiting you to play Westbrook today. Like with Anthony Davis back, does that hurt or help Westbrook? It might help him, honestly, just having a big guy out there that he can lob the ball up to. Westbrook this season, when he's had his good games, it's usually because he gets like a triple-double. He hasn't really been scoring the ball a ton this year. So, like, with Anthony Davis back, I don't think Westbrook, like, that's going to... I mean, obviously his scoring upside is higher whenever he's not playing with LeBron, he's not playing with AD. But I really think the peripherals with AD back, like, the assists might go up. Rebounds probably take a hit a little bit. I think, though, at 8,300, like, Westbrook kind of looks appealing here. Probably, like, more of a tournament play, a dart throw, but at least viable. AD, I assume, will be limited, so I don't really have any interest in him. And again, LeBron, like you're paying the max price for LeBron right now. Obviously, LeBron's been great lately, but I think with AD back, that's going to take a little bit of usage away from LeBron. Take enough to where I don't think at 11-1 he's like a priority spend up today. I would probably put him behind guys like Harden, Jokic, Embiid. I prefer those guys over LeBron today. And then the rest of the Lakers, I'm just not going to go there. I haven't been playing these secondary Lakers guys. I don't think I'm going to start today. So we can go ahead and talk about the Brooklyn side. And Brooklyn right now probably looks like one of the more appealing teams on the slate. They are going to be pretty shorthanded today. Obviously, KD is out right now, and this is a home game for Brooklyn, so Kyrie Irving cannot play, so he's going to be out as well. Nicholas Claxton's been out for a few games, or at least, honestly, I think it's been more than a few games. It's been like a week or two now. Claxton is questionable, so we'll have to watch the stats of Claxton. Obviously, LaMarcus Aldridge and Day'Ron Sharpe have been the two guys that had really been playing the minutes at center with Claxton out. Joe Harris still out. But the big ones here are KD and Kyrie both being out. I mean, with KD and Kyrie both out, it's just going to be the James Harden show. 11-7, like he's expensive, but Harden's by far my favorite pay-up option on this slate. I think on Yahoo, Harden is just clearly the best pay-up option over on Yahoo at $49. We've just seen this scenario so many times. Whenever all the star players are out and Harden's the guy just getting all the usage, like he just has so much freaking upside. I know these teams did play on Christmas Day, and Kyrie and KD were both out on Christmas Day, and Harden just went nuts, had a triple-double, 75 DraftKings points, 36, 10, and 10 for Harden. The matchup's fantastic. The Lakers are not good defensively. They play really fast. This game has a lot of, this game should be very high scoring, has potential to be like a shootout, should be a close game as well. Harden's just going to do everything. He's going to play 40 minutes if the game's close. He's got triple-double upside. I don't need to tell you guys that Harden's a really good play today. You should probably know that already. But then the rest of the Brooklyn guys, so like LaMarcus Aldridge and Day'Ron Sharpe, I mean, they're going to split the center minutes. They're viable if Claxton's out again, but I don't feel great about either one. Last game, Aldridge, he looked great against the Wizards, was solid against San Antonio, and then last game against Minnesota, he was terrible. He fouled out in 17 minutes, so like, I guess Aldridge is playable today. I don't feel great about him, though. I think Patty Mills looks like a really good value. I do like Patty Mills quite a bit. $4,900 on DraftKings. He is fairly cheap, and he's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well. $14 at point guard. So, without Kyrie, I am expecting big minutes for Patty Mills as well. Patty Mills has already been playing pretty big minutes with KD out. He's been starting, but obviously without Kyrie now, the minute ceiling for Patty Mills is even higher. Instead of the low 30s minutes, he probably gets, into the high 30s, maybe 36, 38 minutes. And worth noting that Patty Mills also went off against the Lakers on Christmas Day. He had 53 DraftKings points, 34 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, literally like his best game of the season. Obviously, KD, Kyrie were both out Christmas Day. I think we could see another, kind of big game from Patty Mills here. He benefits in these fast-paced games. Patty Mills, obviously, when he puts up big games, it's usually because he's hitting a lot of shots. In fast-paced games, they're just going to be more possessions, more shot attempts. The Lakers don't really play good defense. Definitely like Patty Mills for value today at $4,900. He is for sure my second favorite play from Brooklyn behind Harden. And then the rest of the Nets, I mean, like, Kessler Edwards has been starting and playing good minutes, so, like, I guess you could go there at $4,600, but he feels priced to where he should be. Guys like Bruce Brown, Cam Thomas, like, these guys probably play a little bit more with Kyrie out, but, the rotations for Brooklyn this year has just been so tough to predict. Some nights Brooklyn will run an 8-man, 9-man rotation. Some nights they'll play 12, 13 guys. Like, you never know what Steve Nash is going to do. I'm going to try and just stick to like the main guys from Brooklyn, Harden, Mills. Maybe you could go to the bigs if Claxton's out, but I'm not going to really touch these bench guys, I don't think. So we can move on to the next game. Talk about San Antonio and Houston. So this is another game that I think looks pretty good. Two fast-paced teams going up against each other. On the San Antonio side, Dejounte Murray, 10K. I mean, really good spot for Dejounte Murray. He dominated against Houston earlier this season. 73 DraftKings points, had a triple-double against them. Obviously, that was back when San Antonio was pretty depleted. They didn't have, Derek White or Keldon Johnson or those guys. Or I think Keldon Johnson might have played them, but I know Derek White was out that game. Regardless, though, I mean, Dejounte Murray's just shown so much upside this season, even with like Derek White and all these guys back. Like he's the offense. He's gonna score. He's gonna produce in every category, get rebounds. He's gonna get assists. He's gonna play huge minutes if the game is close. The matchup is fantastic. I think at 10K, like Dejounte Murray looks great today. I think Jakob Poeltl looks like one of the best center plays. 6,400 for Jakob Poeltl. I like this price tag a lot, especially in this matchup. And I think on Yahoo, Jakob Poeltl looks pretty good as well. $27 if you want to play him over on Yahoo. In close games, I think Jakob Poeltl is going to play like mid to high 30s minutes. His minutes have actually started to trend up lately, 36 and 39 minutes in their last two games. For Jakob Poeltl, we know Poeltl's a really good point per minute player. The matchup against Houston's really good. Like, I think Poeltl looks really appealing today. I like him quite a bit. And then like Keldon Johnson, Derek White, I think these guys are fine. They don't stand out as much as Murray and Poeltl do, but I think White and Johnson are okay. The rest of San Antonio, though, I'm not too excited about. And then on the Houston side, so Christian Wood, KPJ, if you're going to go to any Rockets today, I think those are the two guys we're really going to be looking to. We actually have seen that in close games lately, like Christian Wood and KPJ have both been playing pretty good minutes, 33, 32, 34 minutes the last 3 games that have been close that Christian Wood has played in, and he's been producing at a really good rate. I mean, Christian Wood, heading into the season, was a guy that I thought had a lot of upside in season long, and he's kind of shown that upside lately. It's been an up and down year for Christian Wood, but if you remember, especially like when he was on Detroit, like he was a really good point per minute player. Like he was putting up massive games, 50, 60-point games. Like he has that kind of upside. He can score, he can rebound, he can block shots. Like Christian Wood can stuff the stat sheet. At 8K, I think Christian Wood looks pretty good today. I think Kevin Porter Jr. as well. If this game stays close, like KPJ is going to play mid to high 30s minutes. I don't think the matchup's as good for him because he'll probably be guarded by Dejounte Murray, and Dejounte Murray, really solid defender. But I still think KPJ offers a little bit of upside if you want to go there. The rest of the Rockets, like Jae'Sean Tate, Eric Gordon, Jalen Green, I don't think we need to go to those guys, but I think Wood and KPJ do look pretty solid. Wood especially, I like quite a bit. But next game, Dallas and Golden State. So Dallas today, if you're looking to any Mavs, it's probably going to be Luka and Porzingis. I think both are more tournament options, but Luka, been playing really, really well lately, been playing huge minutes as well. 72, 67, 72 DraftKings points in 3 out of his last 4 games. Matchup against Golden State, like especially without Draymond, I don't think it's really a bad spot for Luka. I think it's a spot where he can definitely have success. Golden State's defense without Draymond is not nearly as good. So I definitely think Luka, more of a tournament play, but viable as a pay-up option. Still would probably put some other guys ahead of him, though. Porzingis, 7,500, I think is okay as well. Don't think Porzingis really stands out at that price tag, but his upside, or the upside for Porzingis is there. It's just that he's been really inconsistent this season. It seems like Porzingis will have a stretch where he plays really well, and then he'll have a stretch where he just can't, he's just terrible. He was really good last game against Memphis. He just fouled out in 26 minutes. I think Porzingis is someone we can look to if you do want to go there, but again, more of a tournament play. And then on the Golden State side, so Steph at a 10-7. I mean, Klay Thompson's questionable today, so I think that does benefit Steph, but God, Steph has just been such a roller coaster this season. He'll have one huge game, and then he'll have 3 terrible games. Then he'll have a huge game, then he'll have 2 terrible games. It's been just up and down. He'll have a big game, bad game, big game, bad game. You don't really know what you're getting from Steph on a nightly basis. He can put up 55, 60 any night, but I don't think Steph's a priority for me. There's just so many other studs I feel better about. The rest of Golden State, I'm not too excited about. I will say that if Klay Thompson does get ruled out, a guy like Jordan Poole at 5,700, I think would be a okay, mid-range option. Last 2 games that Klay has missed, Jordan Poole has played 32 and 34 minutes, and he's put up 31 and 29 DraftKings points. So he would probably play low 30s minutes. Probably, at 5,700 would be okay at this salary. I don't know. I do question his ceiling. I think Jordan Poole really benefits in games that Curry struggles, because usually when Curry struggles, it's because someone else is knocking down shots. Obviously, that guy could be Jordan Poole. 5,700 for Poole. I think if Klay is out, Poole is viable. Otto Porter had a pretty good game last game. He played 31 minutes. He has started the last few games over in place of Draymond. Otto Porter 5,400. Again, I think he's priced where he should be, but he's been a decent point per minute player this year. If you want to go there, I think it's okay. But that's probably it from Golden State. I think that's really everyone I have interest in. So we can talk about the last game of the night, Minnesota and Portland. So Minnesota today, I think the main 3 guys from Minnesota, Cat, Edwards, D. Russ, I think all are solid. At their price tags, I think they're all probably priced where they should be. I don't know if any one of the 3 stands out head and shoulders above the rest, but Cat has upside here going up against Nurkic. Again, not the best spot, I would say, but we know Cat can put up 50 plus any night. More of a tournament play, but at least viable. The guards, I think I do feel a little bit better about. D'Angelo Russell's been really consistent lately, I should say. 47, 47, 45 DK points 3 of his last 5 games. The game against Golden State, I think that was a blowout. And then the game against the Knicks, I know he's in massive foul trouble that game. So I think if this game stays close, we do get mid to high 30s minutes from D'Angelo Russell. I think he would benefit a little bit if Patrick Beverley's out. Patrick Beverley's questionable, so if Beverley sits, I would feel a little bit better about Russell. Anthony Edwards, if this game's close, he's going to play mid to high 30s minutes. Portland been a good defensive team this year, so I think Anthony Edwards is viable too. Probably the only guys I'm going to, though, from Minnesota or even considering. If Patrick Beverley does wind up sitting, I think a guy like Jalen Noel should play a little bit more. If you want to go there, he's an okay value. Same with Malik Beasley. Noel played a little bit more than Beasley did last game, so maybe Noel would be the guy I'd prefer between the two. Jaden McDaniels started last game. He played 27 minutes. He wasn't that great, only had 23 DK points. On a point per minute basis this year, McDaniels has not been that great, but if he is starting again, he's 3,600. Like, he'd be an okay value play. But normally on bigger slates like this, we're going to have, some pretty good value open up as the day goes on. So that's really it for Minnesota. And then on the Portland side, Nurkic, he's priced pretty high right now, 8,500, but he has been producing really, really well lately. His minutes have also been really high, 36 minutes against Orlando, 38 against Boston, 31 last game against Toronto. Like, in games that Nurkic does play these 36, 38 minutes, he can put up huge games. He can go for 50, 60 DraftKings points. The matchup against Cat, I do worry a bit about because Cat is a guy that does draw a lot of fouls. Nurkic did get into some foul trouble when these teams did play earlier this season, have 5 fouls in 21 minutes. So that's the one worry here, is that Nurkic could definitely get into foul trouble going up against Cat. But if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think the ceiling is there for Nurkic, especially with how how willing they have been able, or how they've been willing to give him big minutes as of late. CJ McCollum, though, he's probably my favorite play from Portland. He's only priced at 7,500. In the last few games, he's been getting big minutes. He's basically back to playing his full minutes. The first 2 games he returned from injury, he was kind of on a little bit of a cap, 28 minutes, 33 minutes. But the last 2 games, 36 and 38 minutes for CJ McCollum. Obviously, Damian Lillard is still out right now, so the upside for McCollum is definitely there. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to take plenty of shots. And we know Anthony Simons has had a great role as of late, and Anthony Simons has definitely been a good fill-in for Dame, but I still think this is kind of CJ McCollum's offense whenever Dame is out. I think he's kind of the alpha on this team, so I definitely like CJ at 7,500. Not as interested in Simons at 7,200. Would just rather play CJ. Norman Powell is back, but I'm guessing he'll be limited, so probably not going to have any interest in him. With Powell back, that probably takes me off of guys like Covington a little. Powell returning maybe hurts the upside a little bit for CJ, but still think at 7,500, CJ is still a little bit too cheap. With Dame out, and now that he's playing his full minutes, I do like CJ at that price tag. But that's probably it. I think that's it for Portland, and I think that's it for this 9-game Tuesday slate. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, please do hit the like button down below, guys. Hit the subscribe button as well if you have not yet. Go check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. Go sign up for PrizePicks. Use code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. You can take a look at PrizePicks board for NBA on Tuesday, make some picks for these games, take a look at all the props they have available. If you guys do sign up, again, use code NOAH. If you guys want my plays each day on PrizePicks, along with the entries that I'm playing myself, I give those out on Patreon. You can check that out. It's all linked down below in the description. Get access to all of my updated DFS content, along with my favorite plays each day on PrizePicks. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope you did enjoy. Appreciate it. We will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.